Welcome into the Stack Shack Sports Show. Today, I thought let's do a tier list. We haven't done one of these in a while. We did one at the beginning of the year where we talked about the quarterback tier list that some other people created, but they're going viral a little bit on Twitter right now. A lot of back and forth over where do you rank these quarterbacks. So I thought, why not jump in on the conversation? Now, what I've done here is I have, thrown a few players already into this tier list. People that are backups, Andy Dalton. I'm not worrying about that. I'm looking mostly at people that are starters or are perceived starters by their teams. Also, I can't rank Hendon Hooker and Anthony Richardson. Anthony played like 2 games. Hendon hasn't really played a game yet, right? So you can't really rank them, so I put them down there. There's just no use talking about them. But the rest of the players here, I think we have enough film, and I would say that all of them have been considered perceived starters by their teams. Okay? So let's just jump straight into this. Now, I'm thinking about this not necessarily just who was best, statistically this year. Obviously, there's some players on this list that have had some injuries or maybe a little bit worse of a down year. Justin Herbert, they lost a bunch of games. Kyler Murray only played towards the end. So what I'm doing here is we've got a tier list. Top tier, these are the elite quarterbacks. And I'm thinking of it as, let's say there's a new NFL draft tomorrow, and I need to come up with how I'm ranking my groups of players. I'm not going to necessarily, cut corners and rank in each of these groups. But if I have one of the top couple of picks, I'm grabbing one of these guys. If I'm looking for somebody who's pretty good with a lot of upside, some late rounders, makes sense, right? Maybe I get them as a backup, or maybe I decide to go heavy on other positions and just take a cheap quarterback late, which could be a good strategy. And then some stayaways. I'm just not touching them. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't think that they should be starters moving forward, okay? And because of that, I'm taking in the body of work over the course of multiple seasons, right? I can think about Kyler Murray before the injury, right? I can think of Justin Herbert's whole career. Joe Burrow got hurt this year, right? I'm not counting those against them and just dumping them late or bottom in this tier list. If I'm drafting tomorrow, this is how it's going to look. So we're just going to go in order that this tier list has put them in. Josh Allen. Josh Allen to me is in this gap here, right? Maybe almost in between. I'm going to put him elite, though. Now, we can look at his last game. We talked about it in yesterday's video. The Bills just can't seem to beat the Chiefs. I think a lot of it was game plan, though, late. You also have to give Josh Allen credit. He threw some good balls deep that did not get caught. The Diggs catch late is obviously the most obvious. But I do think he is elite. I think he is in that top tier. And I am going to keep this top tier very minimal as we go through this. Baker Mayfield, he's in a Carolina jersey in this picture. He's with Tampa Bay, got him to the playoffs. To me, I think he is good. Good. He made it to the playoffs. He balled out in the playoffs. He's good. I don't think I would put him in good with upside, though, because I don't think Baker has a lot of upside at this point. I think we kind of know what Baker is. He's good. I think he's a franchise quarterback. But does he have a lot of upside? Do I think he'll ever become in this elite tier? No. No, I don't think he is. And that's fine. That's fine. There's going to be other quarterbacks here that are very successful. And you could maybe, little cheaper contract, build a really good team around him. Joe Burrow. It's got to be elite. Before getting hurt this year, back-to-back AFC championship games, made it to a Super Bowl. If you made it to a Super Bowl playing at a very high level, I think we got to really have a conversation about elite. If I'm putting Josh Allen in elite, right, because of his play, I got to put Joe Burrow in there. He's got a winning record against Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's crazy, right? And I think we'd all agree Patrick's elite. We haven't gotten to him yet, but we'll get to him. Derek Carr. Derek Carr I used to put in the good category, but he really disappointed me this season. And I think, I don't know if it's maybe age starting to become a thing, just not the right fit. I think I'm going to put him as a late rounder. Is he maybe a decent fit if I can get him really cheap and get a lot of other players? If my strategy was to go, heavy on other positions besides quarterback in my draft, maybe fall to a Derek Carr. Okay? Dak Prescott. I'm putting him in the good category. I think he's better than Baker, probably. I think he throws a little better ball, maybe makes a little better decisions. But at the end of the day, I don't see a lot of upside with either of them. They're good. They're solid. They can win a lot of games. They can obviously make it to the playoffs. Baker won a playoff game. Dak hasn't really done as well in the playoffs. Baker's got 2 playoff wins. Dak doesn't have 2 playoff wins, right? But good. They're fine. Daniel Jones, stay away. I'm sorry. I'm done with the Daniel Jones situation. Maybe if the Giants had paid him less so they could surround him with more, maybe I'd have a little different opinion of him, but I just have not seen it. Daniel Jones does not seem to be high-level winning quarterback. All right, Justin Fields. This is a tough one because we all admit he is incredibly athletic and incredibly talented. I'm not quite ready to put him in the stay away category. Just because he's young, and I do still think there's a little bit of upside there that is not there with Daniel Jones. So I'm going to put him in a late rounder, but he is definitely flirting with stay away to me. Okay, late rounder, but one more year iffy when he, obviously it sounds like he's going to move the Bears, looking at the Caleb Williams, lottery winners here. I think Justin's moving on. He gets one more shot in a new situation. Baker, he had a similar problem. Going high, a lot of turmoil, different offensive coordinators, different coaches, all this stuff. So give Justin Fields another shot. Wherever he ends up, we'll have to see. But he's a late rounder to me, and he is flirting with stay away. He is definitely flirting with stay away. Geno Smith. I'm putting you in stay away. He had one hell of a season last year. This year, he was more back to being normal Geno. And I just don't think at his age and his level of play at the moment, I think I would be staying away from him if we're drafting today. I do. I think I would. I don't even think I'd put him in the late rounder category. I think I'd rather have Justin Fields than Geno Smith. Derek Carr than Geno Smith. I do. I think I do. Jared Goff. I'm going to put him in the good with the upside. Now, Jared's been in the league for a little while, so we kind of know what he is. We do. But if you give him a good offensive line, dude can play. Absolutely, dude can play. So, I think good with upside. I don't put him in the elite category. I think Burrow, Allen, Burrow's like the most sacked quarterback. Allen's running all over the place. They have some extra things. They've shown how to overcome some things. Jared Goff, if he's not given the best situation, he's not necessarily the guy that's going to completely take over. But with the right offensive line, give him protection, allow him to deal from the pocket, he's good. He's solid. Very good. And he has that upside when you keep him comfy. Absolutely can be a baller. Justin Herbert. I think I'm putting in the good with the upside. Now, it is a bit hard with Herbert, right? Because you're going, well, what were the Chargers this year? Dak Prescott and Baker Mayfield, they made it to the playoffs. Baker's won 2 playoff games. Herbert hasn't won any. To me, I think you have to admit Staley was a disaster for the LA Chargers. An absolute disaster. Should have been fired at the end of last season. Wasn't. Was fired this season, thankfully. I think if the Chargers get Jim Harbaugh, which reports as I was recording this, looking very positive. Sounds like they're very close to a deal. I think you're going to see Justin Herbert take an entire leap. He already has great numbers, right? Fantastic numbers with kind of a terrible team. not necessarily by the players, but just the coaching, the scheme, the setup. He hasn't had a lot of help. So I got to put Justin Herbert there. He's also younger, definitely has all the upside. Sam Howell. To me, he's a late rounder. If you look at Washington and their team, they really were not very good this year. And they asked him to just throw the ball a billion times, right? If you look at statistically, he actually threw for a ton of passing yards compared to the rest of the league. But he's just not, I can't put him in the good category. You know, again, there's playoff game wins here. There's getting your team to the playoffs. There's some overcoming of things. Sam Howell, late rounder. I think if you built around him, got him the right coach, got him the right weapons, he's also young. So I'd put him in the late round. I'm not ready to say stay away. I mean, we've seen even less of him than we have of Justin Fields, right? And, you know, as far as passing yards, Sam Howell's got him crushed. All right, Jalen Hurts. I think he goes in the good with upside, right? He's good. He's obviously made it to a Super Bowl. That's a huge, notch in the cap. And he's got some great upside with his mobility, with the way he can run, with the fact that he can squat 1 billion pounds. I think he's the good with upside. I don't think you can put Jalen Hurts in the elite. We talked at the beginning of this football season when we were previewing the year and we were going through the elite category, and I said Jalen Hurts is one step away from becoming the elite, from going into that top tier of quarterbacks. Well, he needed one more good year, and he didn't have it. Now, yes, they got off to a hot start, but that offense really sputtered towards the end. I think you could really see the loss of their offensive coordinator present. And, Josh Allen's done it with a couple of different offensive coordinators. Joe Burrow's done it with, pretty terrible offensive lines. And Joe Burrow has back-to-back AFC championships before this season when he was hurt. Obviously not playing, so I don't want to count that against him too much. Jalen Hurts had an opportunity. If Jalen Hurts was in the NFC championship game this week, I'd probably be putting him elite. I probably would. But he doesn't. They lost. They sputtered at the end. I don't think it's all his fault, but it's the reality. He wasn't able to overcome the loss of an offensive coordinator. Something happened in that locker room, and so maybe, I don't know, could he have done something, or was it really just that bad and maybe we shouldn't blame anybody on the Eagles? I don't know. They seem to be bringing back Sirianni. I was on the train of, you got to get rid of this guy. He totally lost the locker room. You don't go 10-1 and then just 1-6 and out of the playoffs in the first round. That's just not normal. You got to get rid of the coach. They didn't, so I don't know what happened. Something seemed to happen. Because they didn't really have a ton of crazy injuries. Now, maybe there's some injuries they weren't talking about. Yes, I know they lost A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in different games down the stretch, but, injuries happen. And yes, the defense was bad, but the offense wasn't clicking. It really wasn't. So I can't put Jalen Hurts elite, but he has been to a Super Bowl. He does have some great upside. I think you got to put him in the good with upside. Jimmy G. At this stage, I think I'm just staying away. I think skill-wise, you could put him in the late rounder category. He has shown the ability to win games, right? But not great, even with awesome weapons around him. I mean, look at what he did in San Francisco, and then they obviously went with Brock Purdy over him in San Francisco. And Brock Purdy's won more games. So, in the perfect scenario, he still wasn't, a Super Bowl champion. I think, you give Justin Fields a Shanahan offense, it might get spicy. Sam Howell, Derek Carr. I think they could do some good things. Jimmy did fine. He was a winning quarterback. But especially now, as he's getting older, the injuries are just too much for me. Again, like I said, we're doing this as if I'm drafting tomorrow. So I am going to take age into account a little bit and injury history. Jimmy G I'm sorry. He's just hurt all the time, and I don't think he would even be qualified the good category in normal situations. So, with an injury history, and even if he was healthy, I'd probably still put him as a late rounder. You got to put him in the stay away. I got to stay away. Kirk Cousins. That's another good quarterback. Okay? I know we like to bash on him for his primetime performances, but if you look at his numbers in the primetime, they're not as bad as everybody would make you believe. Okay? He still puts up yards. The Vikings, I don't think, have been particularly good as a complete team in the last few years, but he's still winning a lot of games. They were a playoff team until he got hurt, right? So I got to put him in the good category. Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. They feel to me about even. Obviously different strengths and weaknesses, but I'm putting him in the good category. Kyler Murray is really tricky because I have some questions and concerns about his dedication to the game. I think everybody does. I mean, heck, they've got, clauses in the contract rumored, right? But he is incredibly athletic. He does still throw a good ball. He is a little small. Okay? He is a little small, but I think I got to put him in the good category because he is so athletic. It's kind of like, wow, we just have so much athleticism here that I think I'm going to put him in the good category. And we have seen him win games. It's tight between these two. In ways, he does feel almost like an older Justin Fields, potentially. But he has put up more numbers. He's gotten a team to the playoffs before. I think you got to put him in the good category. He's been dealing with some injuries. We only saw him a little bit this season. There you go. All right, elite Lamar. Are we putting Lamar elite? This one is very tricky, okay? To me, it's a little bit in between these two, but I think I'm putting Lamar elite. Again, I'm not saying he is the polished pocket passer that Joe Burrow is, or the run you over kind of guy that Josh Allen is. But he throws a pretty decent ball. He's gotten better every year, it feels like, in the pocket. And he's still probably the most electric runner on the field at any given moment. I think you got to put that elite. Again, would I say Joe Burrow's running ability is elite? No. Would I say Lamar Jackson throws the best ball in the NFL? No. But he wins a lot. And he's finally healthy, and we're seeing a great playoff run right now. Yes, he needs a good defense and an offensive line and Zay Flowers to catch the ball and weapons. Of course, Joe Burrow's got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Josh Allen's got Stephon Diggs, James Cook coming on. A pretty solid defense. Now, they had some injuries right at the end there with the linebacking core especially, but to win a Super Bowl, you need more than the best quarterback, right? A lot of people want to put Justin Herbert, in this elite category. He doesn't have the team behind him, right? You need a team. You need something. So I'm not going to hold it against Lamar that his defense is really good. I think Lamar is in this elite category. Okay? I got to put him there. All right, Jordan Love. Man, this one's tough because this is the first season. It's almost like ranking a rookie, right? And we're going to get to some rookies here. We've already talked about Sam Howell. You're right. We just don't have a lot of games. I want to put Jordan Love in this good with upside, but I can't. I just haven't seen enough. And early this season, Jordan Love versus late this season, Jordan Love are two very different things. Okay? So Jordan Love, to me, is in the good category, but unlike a Baker, a Dak, a Kirk Cousins, a Kyler Murray, I think give him another good year. Very possible Love is moving into that good with upside. I don't think I'd put him elite after just 2 years of actual playing, right? Right now, I don't have anybody elite up there, and I won't. I think good with upside is a very real possibility next season. But I just need to see a little more than the last half of a NFL season. He did get a playoff win, which is big, but Baker's got playoff wins. Dak's got playoff wins, right? Kyler Murray's incredibly athletic. I don't know what to do with Kyler. I'm changing my mind. I am. I tried to talk myself into good. Kyler Murray deserves to be in the late rounder. If you're asking me straight up, would I like Kyler Murray or Derek Carr? That's a tough decision. I'm going to have to think about that one. Kyler Murray or Sam Howell? I'm going to have to think about it. Kyler Murray or Dak Prescott? I'm taking Dak every day of the week. So I don't think Kyler deserves up there. He's got to be the late rounder. We were flip-flopping. I've decided, now that I'm putting Jordan Love. I can't put Jordan Love and Kyler Murray in the same category. Come on. I take Jordan Love every single day of the week over Kyler Murray. So Jordan Love goes in that good category. He's got some playoff wins. He's in with some other guys that got some playoff wins. I know, yell at me over Justin Herbert. He just has too much upside. Jordan Love is very, very close to that good with upside. I just need to see it probably one more year. And then I've got no problem moving him up. Okay? These three, to me, are kind of hard stuck good. Okay? Mac Jones, staying away. I'm staying away. I'm sorry. Was he great at Alabama with all those weapons? Yeah, he was. Has it been kind of a disaster in New England? Bill Belichick can't seem to get the offense right. Right? Yes. But I don't necessarily love the attitude. I just haven't seen anything. I look at Derek Carr. Remember with the Raiders, with the Gruden, and then Ruggs goes to prison? He got that Raiders team to the playoffs with a coach getting fired and a wide receiver going to prison for murder-adjacent charges. That's overcoming some stuff, okay? Justin Fields, too much athleticism. I would take Justin Fields over Mac Jones. Sam Howell, younger, haven't seen as much. Put up big numbers at a pretty bad team. Mac Jones hasn't been able to do that. Okay, so I'm staying away from Mac Jones. All right, Patrick Mahomes. Elite. You have to. You have to put him elite. You absolutely do. Okay? You have to. He is absolutely elite. He seems to be the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There's no other place for him. If we're ordering these, he probably gets number one. Okay? But absolutely elite. And I'll give you the spoiler. I don't think anybody else is making it into elite. I don't think they're doing it. I think that's your four. Those four are just better than everybody else, I think. All right, Kenny Pickett. I'm staying away. I mean, he got benched for Mason Rudolph, right? I can't do that. I can't put him any higher than stay away. Gotta stay away. Brock Purdy. This is the other kind of controversial one. I think everybody's putting Mahomes elite. Whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. You're putting Mahomes elite, right? Brock Purdy, there's probably some discussion, right? There's a lot of discussion. I'm putting him in the good category. Let that sit with everybody for a moment. I'm putting him in the good category. And here's why. You're telling me Kirk Cousins and that San Francisco offense isn't going to win a bunch of games? Come on. Tell me Dak can't do it? Baker? Jordan Love's way more athletic and has a way better arm than Purdy. Purdy is good. He absolutely is. But you look at that offense when one of his big pieces is missing, and they are not very good. They're not that productive. So to me, you gotta put Purdy in the good category. I'm telling you right now, you put Justin Herbert with Kyle Shanahan, oh my goodness gracious. Now, Purdy is cheap, right? So, again, if I was drafting, if I don't have one of the first 4 picks, there's a very real possibility. Maybe I go, well, let's wait and draft a guy like Purdy a little later. Let's go with, build the offensive line to start out, right? There are benefits to Purdy, but as a player, I got to put him in the good. I'd like to get him as late in the draft as possible if that was my strategy for drafting a new football team. There you go. Purdy in the good category. I don't think you can put him in the good with upside because I don't really see a ton of upside. Right? Jared Goff made it to a Super Bowl, is now leading the Lions to a big championship game. So 2 different teams he's taking deep. I've seen Jared Goff duel with Patrick Mahomes. Remember that game? When Jared was with the Rams, it was like 50-52. Like, it was just crazy game. Touchdowns all over the place. When you give Jared Goff the right weapons, fireworks. When you give Purdy the right weapons, pretty darn good. I don't see quite the level of fireworks. And I think Jared Goff doesn't need all the weapons Purdy has, right? Purdy, again, go look at the numbers of San Francisco's offense in the games that Deebo Samuel doesn't play. It's not great. It's not great. All right, Desmond Ridder. I think I'm staying away. He definitely has the opportunity to move into other categories. Give him some time. He is super young, right? I'm putting Jimmy G and Geno in here because it's like, well, they're pretty old. I don't see anything here. I'm staying away from them. Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, I've seen him for a couple of years. Desmond, haven't seen him much, but I'm staying away. From what I've seen, I just haven't seen any upside there. And so I got to stay away from him. Does he have an opportunity next season if he really balls out to move up this list? Absolutely. I don't see the rest of these guys moving up. Desmond has an opportunity. All right, Aaron Rodgers. So we didn't see him this year. Okay? I mean, well, I guess we saw him for a couple of plays, right? To me, I think at this stage, I'm putting Aaron Rodgers in the good category. This is spicy, I know. Talking about a Super Bowl winning quarterback here. And I'm putting him behind 3 guys in the good with upside category that haven't won Super Bowls. Herbert hasn't even won a playoff game. But I think at this stage, I mean, let's just think about it. Jordan Love or Aaron? Green Bay chose Jordan. And if you look at their offensive numbers, with basically the same team, Jordan was better. He was. I think that counts for something. Now, do I think Aaron Rodgers can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback tomorrow? Sure. Next season? He could. Give him the right weapons around him. But I don't think at this stage in his career, he's quite the level of Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, or Jared Goff. I'm taking those guys over him. The other thing is, Aaron, he's a loud, very popular, and very polarizing person. That's fine. I agree with him on some stuff, don't agree with him on other stuff. But that is a bit of a distraction to the team, I would think. It's just something to deal with. He's been rumored as somewhat moody. You know, we saw last year with the Packers, he kind of would stop throwing to some of the young receivers. I just don't know if he's the guy I want, to spend a first-round draft pick on, all to get and build my team around. I don't think I can do that. I would rather have Goff, Herbert, Hurts. Aaron, he rubs some people the wrong way. He's still a great talent. We'll see how he's coming off of a big injury, too. So I think you got to put him in the good category. Again, this is not an order of quarterbacks. It's just a grouping. Russell Wilson. Wow, this is a tough one. I think I'm putting him in the late rounder. I do still think he has something in the tank. We saw in Denver, he started to put up some numbers this season, much better than last year. So I don't think he's completely shot. But I no longer think that, I'd want to put him in the good category. I think he's a little more Derek Carr than Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, and Aaron Rodgers. If you ask me tomorrow, do I want Baker or do I want Russell? I think I want Baker. Russell also has some rumors, doesn't maybe connect with teammates as well. That's fine. You don't have to love everybody. But combine that with what seems to be deteriorating abilities. Again, I don't like what happened to him in Denver. We'll see how that all plays out. That's not even done yet. But I can't put him in the good category. I don't think he has a ton of upside anymore either. All right, Matt Stafford. I'm putting him in the good with upside. All right. And the reason being is, if you ask me, do I want Matt Stafford or Kirk Cousins? I'm going to say Matt Stafford. Still throws potentially the prettiest ball in the NFL. And this season, he showed when he's healthy and when he has a few weapons, that Rams team was not that great, top to bottom. He can still ball out. I mean, that playoff game in Detroit, he had better numbers than Jared Goff. Played really good. Thought we had it there. It was close. That game was super close. So I think I'm putting him in that same category. If you say you want Stafford or Goff, I'm going to have to think about that one, right? It feels about right. Stafford or Jordan Love? I'm taking Stafford. The dude's won a Super Bowl. Come on. And I think with Stafford, you avoid, maybe some of the things Aaron, and Stafford's won a Super Bowl much more recently than Aaron Rodgers has, right? So I think he's still got plenty left in the tank. I think he's got some great upside. Great upside. All right, CJ Stroud. I think we got to put him in the good with upside. Jordan Love, like we said with Jordan Love. Now, I know Jordan Love's not a rookie, right? But this is really the first season we've seen of him. CJ Stroud's a rookie. So you might be thinking, whoa, Nathaniel, what are you doing there? How are we going? You're going all the way up to good with upside for CJ? Yes. He broke a bunch of records as a rookie. Was electric. Jordan and CJ both get knocked out in the same round. CJ did it for a whole season. Jordan did it for half a season. That's why I said Jordan is so close to being pushed up here. I just need to see it for a few more games. Okay? Just need to see it for a few more games. So CJ gets the good with upside. He's young. You said Matt Stafford to CJ Stroud. I might take CJ just because he's younger. I might consider it. If you say CJ or Kirk Cousins, come on. Who's not taking CJ Stroud in that game? My goodness. Trevor Lawrence. This last little group, I think we'll be okay on, the bottom two. But especially these next two quarterbacks, I think are hotly debated. Trevor Lawrence, where does he end up? I think I'm putting him in the good category. I don't know. I just can't unsee the way this season ended for Trevor. And maybe that's too much of a knee-jerk reaction. But that last drive, the way this team was, ready to go and then fell out of the playoffs, it's a little bit similar to Jalen Hurts, right? Like Jalen, this offseason, I was like, I'm ready to maybe put you in elite if you make it back to an NFC title. Trevor, you make a good deep playoff run. I'm probably ready to put you into that, second tier and give me one more year and you might be elite. Or if you go to the Super Bowl this year, I might put you in elite, right? But I don't think I can put him in this category. We're talking Super Bowl champion, made it to a Super Bowl. Now, Justin Herbert's the one. right? What the heck is he doing up there? And Trevor down here. Trevor and Justin played against each other last season in the playoffs. Trevor came back like crazy. But is that Justin's fault? Or is that the defense's fault and the coaching's fault and the dumb decisions by Staley? I think a lot of it lands on the coach's shoulders. Trevor has an offensive coach. Weapons that are available this season. Justin, I mean, when was the last time Allen and Wallace actually finished a year? I can't remember it. Okay? I think you got to put Justin in that category, and I think you got to put Trevor here. Just like I don't put Jalen up there because of this season, I'm not putting Trevor up there. I got to drop him down to good. Just, I can't get it out of my head how that ended. Maybe I'd lean towards Trevor over Dak or Kirk. Sure. But you're telling me Trevor over Jordan Love. Trevor over Aaron Rodgers. I just don't see a big gap there. I don't think that's a no-brainer. Tua's going in the good category. Okay? I don't see a ton of upside with him. Right? He's got one of the best offensive coaches. He's got weapons all over the place. A pretty decent defense. And if it's cold outside, he can't win a game. It's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't put Tua any higher. I'd be tempted to almost move him down to this late rounder category. But am I really taking Baker Mayfield over Tua by a wide margin? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he still throws a good ball. Regular season, warm weather. Hey, Dolphins. Get the 1 or 2 seed so you can host some playoff games, guys. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. If he hosts some playoff games, I think he can win some playoff games. Right? You put him in San Francisco. A little better defense. Not as cold. Playing at home field advantage, right? These two are very similar, Purdy and Tua, to me. You give them the right conditions. No rain, a little warmer. I mean, Purdy really struggled last week. Why? Probably because it was raining. Tua would have probably struggled a little bit too. But regular season, good weather, with all the weapons you can surround them with because they're maybe a little less expensive. They're going to win a lot of football games. So, got to put them in the good category. Deshaun Watson, this is a stay away. Okay? The team really didn't miss him. I'm going to be honest. You throw Joe Flacco in there, he did pretty good. It's not great, but neither were Deshaun's numbers before he got hurt. And I don't want the baggage. I don't want all the other stuff to go around there. I'm staying away from Deshaun. All right, Bryce Young and Zach Wilson, our last two young guys. Bryce Young is super young. Okay? Super young. I think I'm going to put him in a late rounder. Okay? Similar to a Justin Fields. And especially the fact that this is his rookie year. Right? He would be a late round pick for me. These guys I'm staying away from. I've never seen a lot of upside. Not highly rated necessarily for Desmond out of college. Bryce Young's a number 1 pick. Okay? A lot of people think he's really good. Give him another year. And he was in Carolina, which was bad. Let's be real. They're bad. Desmond at least has some weapons in Atlanta. I mean, who's Bryce really got in Carolina on that offense? It's not great. So, I think we put him in the late rounder. He obviously, again, the rookies in these categories, Bryce Young, Desmond Ridder, they have a lot of upside. A lot of opportunity to grow and move up these tiers. Jimmy G, I'm staying away from him. I don't care if he wins a playoff game next year. I'm not doing it. right? I'm not all of a sudden going to put Jimmy G into the elite category. I don't think he can get there. Ritter, maybe. Maybe he has a big leap in the offseason. Bryce Young, sure. They're young enough. They have the opportunity. It is possible. But Daniel Jones, I've seen enough. I know what he is. And that's the same with Zach Wilson. I'm staying away. I've seen it. I've seen it enough. Is the Jets the best team? The best organization around? No. But he just hasn't done anything. I mean, look at Sam Howell's number compared to Zach Wilson's. Sam Howell passed for a lot more yards. Okay? And I don't see anything super unique. Cannon of an arm, sure. But there's a lot of other guys that can throw the ball really far. I've never seen it from Zach, and I've seen it for enough time. This isn't a Bryce Young situation. Zach, his rookie year, probably wouldn't have put him in the stay away. Probably would have put him in the late rounder category. But now, a couple years under his belt, I know what he is. I'm staying away. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. My completely unbiased, perfect quarterback tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you tomorrow.